I feel like every single time I bring someone into my room, there's a 1 in 5 chance they're gonna say, "Hey man, you can just emulate all this stuff, right?" And they're not technically wrong. If I spent like a fifth of everything I have, I could have gotten a PC that could run pretty much anything I ever wanted. But to me, this looks way better than this. Gaming is not a cheap hobby, not even close. Let's say you wanted to play Mario Kart Double Dash with your boys Kevin, Levin, and Devin. At the bare minimum, you're gonna need a GameCube, 4 controllers, a memory card, and Mario Kart Double Dash. So you go on Google, you pull up DK Oldies, you find all the stuff you need, you take a second mortgage on your house, and you place your order. This is a lot to spend on what's only one game for one system. And GameCube games aren't exactly dropping in price right now. It's really hard, if not impossible, to justify someone new to games why they would want the original hardware over emulating it. Let's say they actually went through and they ordered all of this, they open it, they hook it up to their TV, and it's probably gonna look something like this. New age modern TVs just are not compatible with retro hardware. To say it's a less than desirable experience is an understatement. The colors are all off, you get these annoying black bars, it's all stretched, it just doesn't look good. If I just got done paying $200 for a setup for it to look like this, I would be pissed. Alright, now let's look at Dolphin for example. Dolphin has so many great features built into it. It has native GameCube controller support, you can force 16:9 for games, you can up the resolution to above 4K in most cases. And the absolute best upgrade of them all has got to be NetPlay. Getting 4 people together when you're an adult feels damn near impossible in person. Everyone's got their own thing going on, and to convince 4 other people to come and play Mario Party on a Tuesday, it's gonna happen maybe once a month if you're lucky. NetPlay breathes life into multiplayer games like never before. Mario Kart Double Dash, Strikers, Mario Golf, Mario Baseball, they are so much fun online. It works so well. It's like it was meant to have online in the first place. And some of these games have scary good netcode. Melee, of course, has Slippy.gg, which has rollback in it, and it feels genuinely so close to offline, it is scary, especially when you have a good connection. And for a lot of people, this is absolutely the best way to enjoy retro games. Instead of spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on original hardware and games, you can download a couple emulators, like 4 megabytes worth of ROMs, and you can play pretty much any game you want to. And that's not even to mention mods. Fans go absolutely insane with the stuff they do for games. They replace models to make them higher quality. Some people do full-on remakes, like in the case of another Metroid 2 remake. Pokemon itself gets so much love. It's got Emerald Kaizo, recently it got Pokemon Infinite Fusion, and not to mention the randomizer. I've played the GBA and DS Pokemon games at the very minimum 3 times each. Some of them are probably close to the double digits. The randomizer lets you find new Pokemon in areas, and it lets you battle new Pokemon, and it breathes so much life into these games, it's insane. There's so much to do now, you can do pretty much anything you want, any team is possible, it's amazing. And this is only an experience you can really get on an emulator. I'm talking really highly of emulation right now. There are a couple niche trade-offs you make when you go the emulation route rather than the original. For one, you lose the physicality of games. I love boxes, I love looking at manuals, I love disc art, I love everything about it. Clearly I do, because I've dedicated so much of my room to it. I think it looks great, and the fact that you lose out on that is really a bummer. And you honestly, in my opinion, cannot beat the look of a CRT. I know I sound elitist as hell, but there is nothing quite like a CRT on native hardware. It's so pretty. It actually makes a lot of games look so much better. The first time I ever played Ocarina of Time was on the Wii on an HD TV. And oh my gosh, I couldn't beat the game, I thought it looked so bad. Playing it on a CRT on the original hardware, it is night and day. I can't believe this game looks this good on a CRT. When you go the emulation route, you lose out on a couple of the things that you can really only do with the actual game. Like in the example of Pokemon, you kind of lose that on-the-go factor, and you also lose the ability to trade with people. I don't think any of these things probably matter to most people, but for me personally, some of the most fun I had at college this year was sitting on my couch with my friend playing Heart Gold and Soul Silver on our DSs, and we actually traded with each other to get trade evolutions, so it's something that's still kind of prevalent in my life, and it's something I would really miss if I went the emulation route. Controllers are another huge factor for me. Your average player is probably just going to hook up their Xbox or PlayStation controller because it's easy to set up, but something feels so wrong about playing a game like Super Mario 64 on an Xbox One controller. Again, I know I sound elitist, but I need the N64 controller, and I need it to feel good and real. There are a ton of companies making third-party controllers like N64 controllers for PC. I hate every single one of them. They all suck. The buttons feel bad. They break after 3 months. It's a waste of money. I would rather just spend the extra money, buy a 64, buy Mario 64, and get an actual controller. This becomes a really big issue, especially for like DS games that are trying to emulate the touchscreen. You're not going to get a controller for that. And for like, let's say Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, a lot of those minigames use touch controls, and doing that on the mouse just feels wrong. Nintendo has re-released some of their controllers for their emulators, which is a really great step, but their emulators have way too many issues for it to be a viable option. It is mind-boggling to me that the billion-dollar company is getting outclassed by the fans, but it's the world we live in, and it's really disappointing. The biggest issue that emulators run into is, of course, most likely the parent company. Sometimes your company will celebrate what you do, and they will really encourage you to keep doing it. Unless you're Nintendo, let's be real here. Nintendo loves to crack down on all the passionate fan projects and emulators, and once something is taken down, it's done. Of course you can still download it, but that means no more updates. Any existing bugs, they're going to be there. It's just done. And this might not seem like an issue, but if you compare Dolphin 4.0 to 5.0, if 4.0 was left and that was like the end of it, I feel like a lot of people would have issues with it. At the end of the day, the important part is that we're gaming. I would rather someone emulate a really expensive game so that it gets a chance to be played and enjoyed by someone than not at all. Play the games you want to and how you want to.